the business was run with myself and my partner, Justin, over a period of around about 15 years. Started up in 2009. And we always had a soft vision of, maybe selling the business if it got to a certain size. But unfortunately, there was a tragic accident in 2023. My partner Justin passed away in a road traffic accident. So as you can imagine, a lot of things changed from that moment. And from there, a few months later, the family who were sort of silent partners with him decided that they wanted to sell the business. When we decided that it was right to sell the business, as you can imagine, we'd never dealt with anyone or I didn't have any experience in selling businesses before. So it was like a really important decision to try and find the right partner for us to support us in the sale. The first point of call, I spoke to our accountants who were really good, and they actually recommended Initium as one potential M&A business that we may partner up with. And I took that on board and spoke to a few others over a period of time. Took about a month. But when I spoke to Liz at Initium, one key thing stood out is that I felt that they actually really understood the emotional side of the transaction that would potentially go ahead, and not just the commercial side of it as well. And I think for myself and the other shareholders in the business, that was really, really key, to get a good partner that really could understand the business from that point of view. Another part of it as well was that I was really conscious to make sure I got a partner that only represented the sales side, so that we get the best deal possible. So that was really important in the choice as well. When we agreed to work with Initium, one of the key things that they gave us straight away, which I thought was really, really useful, was a calendar, almost like a timeline of when they expected things to happen within the process. So that was really good for us preparing the groundwork and just being aware of what was coming up and what was going to happen going forwards and potentially towards an actual sale. One of the early things that surprised myself is that I thought that our business was in a really good position to sell, and we were actually in that good position. But what became clear, and where Initium helped, was that this needed to be documented in a formal manner that could be presented to potential buyers. Also, going further along the M&A process, it was really good to get advice on actually presenting and doing management presentations. Part of the selling process was management presentations we actually did 5 different potential parties. So it was good to get advice on how to present across teams and face-to-face, and to basically sell our business in the best way possible. And then moving on to sort of nearer the end of the process, which I was not quite prepared for, but I would say to any other person that's selling their business, like, bear it in mind, is that the due diligence process, when you do get down to maybe one potential acquirer, is really quite hard work, and it's quite stressful. Has to be done. These companies that are potentially buying are spending a hell of a lot of money, which we always were conscious of that fact. But where Initium really helped, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without them really, was just helping us prepare and presenting those due diligence questions to the lawyers and the accountants that are just so key in the acquirers getting the information they needed to be confident enough to push the button. key thing that happened right at the beginning was that Initium said that they wanted to actually approach potential acquirers rather than us just going out to market and seeing who was interested. And I think that added real value for us because we hadn't thought of it from that perspective. And another piece of information and advice that they offered is that they would not go with any potential acquirer that didn't have a track record of making acquisitions. So that straight away we realised that there was knowledge from Initium in terms of how to market the company to the best possible acquirers to get the best possible result. And also what was really important as well that they added value in terms of the preparation was giving us a framework of what to prepare to get ready for the sale. And that really helped myself and the team working on it put together all of the information needed to get the best result. Well, in terms of myself and the shareholders, unfortunately our founder Justin Posner passed away in 2023 and his family were left with his shareholding, and they were silent partners in the business. So it was really important for them to to sell the business to give them financial security, but also to respect the legacy that Justin had in place with fellow owners, and to continue the business as much as we could in a new home, but keeping the name and keeping the ethos of the business. And for me personally, I've carried on as managing director of the company and served the management team. It was an important part of the transaction that the buyers wanted us to carry on because the business was doing really well. And for me personally, I've enjoyed that. It's been slightly different. There's a bit more reporting to a bigger group, and I'm learning some new skills, but I'm still enjoying it. And it's what was also really nice is that the team have bought into it in terms of the staff, and it's going along really well at the moment. Well, I think in terms of preparing for a sale and looking at potential times to exit, it's quite a personal thing with each team. So everyone's experience in their businesses would be different. But when I think about what we thought about and spoke about in terms of potentially selling, there's a few sort of key times that we probably would make that decision. I think one of those is when, for example, a lease term on a property is coming up where you may want to expand your business, or potential for new customers come along where it may be a better fit to be part of a bigger business. In our business, and myself included, we're humble enough to decide whether a role has become slightly different to the one you started. And what I mean by that is starting a small business with 3 people is a hell of a lot different to managing a team of 50 people and maybe looking to scale it to 100 to 200. So I think they're factors that everyone should consider when selling a business, and also whether it's in a good financial position to maximize the return you get on it. I definitely would recommend Initium to any other founders that are looking to sell. There's a few reasons why. The first one is that they definitely understood us from an emotional perspective as well as a financial, and the team really helped on both of those sides and held our hand along the way. Also, when speaking to Initium, it becomes really clear that they're well experienced in this particular marketplace, and it's a marketplace that you need to rely on the team that you're working with 100%, and I felt that we got that with Initium. They only represent the sales side, and that was really important. and that's always reflected on the journey towards the end of a sale. One other thing I would add as well is that in terms of the reporting and preparing the reports, the team here did an amazing job helping us do that as well, because it does take quite a bit of resource that we struggled with in our business, as well as doing the day-to-day job to manage. Well, there's a couple of key areas that I found really worthwhile. One was that we needed to appoint lawyers because they are a big part of the transaction process. And again, we hadn't had experience of choosing any particular M&A specialist lawyer. And Initium came up with a number of people that they would recommend. It wasn't forced upon us. They arranged meetings with them all, and it was entirely up to our own choice. But the people that they recommended and we finally went with were really great, and they listened to us as sellers about what we wanted. I was pretty clear with the lawyers that we wanted them to be as helpful as they could to the potential acquirers' lawyers, as they were part of the sale process, and they were great all the way along. Another area where Initium really help is that they're in contact with you every day. They're always at the end of the phone. There's a lot of conversations to be had, questions that need to be answered, and things that you're not quite sure of as a seller. And we felt that they were with us every step of the way, and they were always available, and whether it be over the telephone, on Teams, or in person at certain meetings. So yeah, recommended. So when I met with the team and Liz at Initium, she explained that there's a group of people that have sold their businesses called the Fellows. It's not just a business relationship right up until the business sale and then we move on our separate ways. There's actually a group of people that I'm now part of as Fellows that can support each other, have regular meetings, have events that are quite fun, and there's a lot of activity that goes on with those groups after the actual sale.